everybody hopefully signed up with Beth onto the Inter-Union Organizing Committee email list, and we have our meetings every 2 weeks. We have to fluctuate because on Tuesday and Thursday you got boot camp. On Wednesday the engineers are up on the roof, so we kind of bounce it around between Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, and Friday. So you have to keep your eyes open, but we address all kinds of questions of workers' issues, of bullying on the campus, of how to fight for workers' advancement, and how to build our unions. And we will continue to do that up through the down contract period, into the next up contract period, and on infinitum, until our unions are actually doing the job and they've taken the concept of the inter-union organizing seriously and unite all public and state and private workers so that we can win our contracts. Because the old saying, an injury to one is an injury to all, is what drives the labor movement, and they've forgotten about it. They don't want us to remember that.
May Day, talk about May Day.
There are going to be a number of actions on May Day. And in particular, we have a visitor from the National Union of Miners of South Africa. Metal workers, I'm sorry. The National Union of Metal Workers in South Africa. And what's so important about the NUMSA organization is that they have realized that the tripartite government in South Africa that was made up of the COSATU, the Congress of Organizations of South African Trade Unions, the ANC, the African National Congress, and the South African Communist Party had a government together, and they had promised to meet the needs of the working people, but they have not done that since the end of apartheid. So the NUMSA has broken with the tripartite regime and is saying that they need a new fighting workers socialist party. They have not formed one, but they are calling on workers to break with the government party and to form their own party. We're having visitors come on May Day, May 1st and May 2nd. We have leaflets that have been distributed with the addresses, and there will be addresses on the video, I suppose. Other issues here today, anyone else like to speak?
The genetic disease laboratory branch of CDPH, and I test newborn babies' blood for genetic diseases. I recognize and find babies who are sick daily to make sure they have a healthy, happy life. With the furloughs, my house was foreclosed on in 2008, then my car's been repossessed, another car repossessed. You know, like Charles said, I can barely afford to live here in Oakland. I have to have roommates, live in a small duplex. And I'm a scientist. It makes no sense. Why should engineers be making so much more than I do very valuable work, and I think it's important that we get paid for the work we do.
Okay, good. Thank you. What's your name?
Patty Rich.
Natalia Spell. I work for California State, also known as Natalia Butenka.
Okay.
I guess more people know me like Natalia Butenka, and I got married recently. I work for state for Abuse Substances Control Division, which has something to do with drunk driving, but not really drunk driving per se, but the labs who analyze blood from these drunk drivers. And everybody heard the case about some young boy who ran over several people, and the attorney apparently claimed he suffered in what is it? Affluenza. Now I tell you what, if these things regarding the crime lab regulations, what the crime lab are doing, they're analyzing the blood from drunk drivers, and it looks like now it becomes endangered. The whole regulation is gonna die out soon. If that happens, next time this attorney is not gonna claim affluenza, which is laughable. The attorney gonna claim that blood concentration apparently of this youngster was far below permitted levels. there will be nobody to go and find out what was the blood level, because the crime lab is a black box. It becomes a black box. There will be nobody who can penetrate there and find out what they did wrong. There will be no more regulation. That's how bad it will be. And I think it's all political. This regulation gonna die, or maybe not, if we take action. But that's what might happen with many drunk drivers who afford to pay a very high-priced lawyer and get away with this. And if there is no crime lab, which is regulated by government, they will get away with this very easily. It will be very easy. You wouldn't believe how easy to do the documentation fraud in a lab. And if there is nobody to check them, it will be end. And the reasonable question everybody would ask, I think, okay, if there will be no government regulation of the crime lab doing forensic alcohol, what will be in place of that? You will be laughing. There is an organization who is known as AFSCME Lab. Now, AFSCME Lab stands for Crime Lab Directors. And they write themselves into the regulations recently, in 2004. As you told me, the corrupt politicians control these things. What they did, instead of regulation by government, by us, basically, by scientists who know everything about this analysis, they proposed crime lab regulation by AFSCME Lab, who are crime lab directors. They are association of crime lab directors. And self-regulations of the lab. Essentially, it means that lab, apparently, they claim, are totally able to regulate themselves without any government. But there will be AFSCME Lab who will kind of patronize them. Again, conflict of interest.
Privatization.
Yes, exactly. No government control whatsoever. The problem goes really bad because vast majority of crime labs are actually on prosecution side. There are very little so-called like private labs. They are all controlled by DI. So basically it will be skewed towards prosecution. And I think it's unfair to people of California. That's what I want to say. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm just give you some information. If you need more, I can come up with some presentation regarding the particular law which are intended to erase the government control over forensic alcohol analysis and crime labs.
Poor and come out rich. And this, all you got to do is Google what their salaries are and how much money they're worth. You couldn't possibly, based upon the salaries they're getting. They are gangsters. We have no right, no, I shouldn't say no right, we have no reason to plug into the Democratic Party because our money should be going towards us, organizing, not going in towards the Democratic Party who turns around and sticks it to us. This will never change. We have to change the way we look at the political system in this country. I saw this firsthand. And I see it, it's getting worse. These people do not share our interests. They don't care about us. The working class, even if you've got a doctorate's degree and you work at a place like this, you will be crushed. You will be crushed. At East Bay Mud, we had a wonderful setup. Things were going fine. And then after the stock market crashed, things started to change. Mother Mud wasn't so easy, wasn't putting out money and benefits anymore. They were freezing the workers' wages. This is happening to the school teachers, to public workers. I'm out here because I support you, and I understand that AFSCME, SEIU, stationary engineers, we all have to get together. It's the same fight. And what they want to do is isolate us. Oh, you people will get an extra 1%. AFSCME will get 1% less. That's how they divide and conquer us. The working class is fighting for its life. And right here in the Bay Area, you pick up the West County Times today, right on the front page. Rent, housing, skyrocketing, skyrocketing. If you want to work at a place like this, you may find yourself having to go out to Antioch or Brentwood to survive, to have a place to stay. So after 3 years, Charles has been working here, and he's been struggling for you people, and now it's coming to fruition because you're beginning to understand what Charles was talking about. When he started raising his voice 3-4 years ago, the uppities in the so-called union, which is not a union, it's a law firm, the first thing they thought about, we got to get this guy shut up. And they kicked him out of the union. He went to a court, he got back in the union. Then they kicked him out of the union again. He went to the state court. He got back in the union again. Now they're appealing it. Why? This is one man. And the reason they're afraid of him is because he has the knowledge and he's bringing it and he's sharing it. And you people are now catching on, and we've got a fight going on here. They don't want that. They want you to shut up. They want you to stay in those buildings, go over there and eat your lunch. They'll take care of everything. That's what they'll tell you, so that you have no information. Then when the contract is settled and you get nothing, you go, how did this happen? Well, that's why guys like Charles are here. He'll tell you how it happened. And if you've got your ears open and you're paying attention, you'll understand how it works. And you'll see the seriousness of this battle that we're involved in. Thank you.
Thank you.